Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is Dr. Rao, and as we are starting, so many disturbances coming up. Okay, um, I was really exposed to certain things in New York. For example, when I lived there for about 5 years, I saw many people are indifferent to whatever is going on around them. And there was one incident when people were walking around, even though there was one person that's really needing attention, fell and lying on the road, and many drove around him, away from him, and many people who are walking also did not stop and pay. That kind of caught the real attention of the New Yorkers. Have we grown so apathetic to other people's suffering? Don't we feel anything? And that was a big discussion at one time, right? So I was wondering about that, and then some things came up to me that I thought I would share with you guys. So I was really thinking about it. We have so many tech marvels that would seem like magic to previous generations, right? But then inwardly, we are not really uh, mm, connected with each other, you know, and we don't really feel anything. What are the reasons for this? So I have come up with some ideas, some understandings that over the years. So then I thought, are we awake to the suffering around us? So in the world overflowing with information and constant connection, we find ourselves paradoxically more distant from the suffering that surrounds us, right? This exploration I'm going to do today invites us to reawaken our innate capacity for compassion and presence, to feel deeply without breaking, to witness clearly without turning away. Together, we will journey through the barriers that have calcified around our hearts, and we'll discover some pathways back to our shared humanity. That is for sure, right? We all share the humanity for sure. So I thought I would, present some of those ideas that you may consider, to see whether they're uh, practical or not. Because even if a few people stop and think about where we are going, what is happening, I think that would be a very big revival with all of us, right? So instead of getting occupied with all the information and also constantly connecting to so many people around the world on the social media, let's turn in and see chapter one. Like, okay, let's do a small, make a few minutes chapters. Like, see, we have become callous over the heart. See, we tell ourselves we have grown stronger, more resilient in the face of endless tragedy scrolling through our feeds, right? But what we mistake for resilience is often something far more troubling. than what we think it is. A calcification of feeling. That's what I call it. A calcification of feeling. It's like a protective numbness that shields us from the weight of unresolved collective distress. That's what I was talking about. Um, there was a numbness in New Yorkers when we saw that event. So this emotional callus, it doesn't form overnight. It builds slowly, imperceptibly, layer upon layer. Each new cycle adding another thin membrane between our hearts and the world's pain. We scroll past suffering with the same ease we scroll past advertisements. Our capacity for genuine response, dulled by sheer volume and repetition, overwhelming us, right? So, true resilience isn't the absence of feeling, but is a feeling to feel fully while maintaining our center. That should be stated again. True resilience isn't the absence of feeling, it is the capacity to feel fully while maintaining our center undisturbed. See, the callus we have developed isn't protection, it's a prison that separates us from our deepest humanity and from each other. See, everything is not mechanical, you know, everything is not things and out there. There's so much deeper, kind, compassionate human beings, right? I encounter at least one of them every day. So when we really look at that way, we say, yeah, that has become the modern society's kind of fashion, maybe grown into it because they don't know how to go about it when they are kind and feeling good, and people may take advantage of them. All these things come up. Okay, you remember I talked about the ledger mind, the mind that keeps score. Okay, also there may be fear. See, when that fear that we feel, that shrinks our horizon or expansive look. See, the inward pull, when uncertainty, we face uncertainty like a fire or like an earthquake or whatever, that uncertainty, what's going to happen next. Like I was just watching somebody who was celebrating anniversary for the California fires last year, and this lady, old lady, she said, "I discovered that there's happiness not in there in things, and I can be happy with all the things." She lost everything in that fire, but I was very impressed by her. So, but then she had uncertainty. When that is threatening, our natural instinct is to contract inward. Okay, to we pull our attention, resources, and care closer to home, right? And the circle of concern narrows to family, to self, until the last landscape of human experience that becomes a pinpoint of personal survival. Basically, you think of yourself, your survival. That is the inward pull. Into going outward to other people, you go. And then your gaze collapses. Fear doesn't just protect us, it blinds us. See, our peripheral vision fails, our capacity for the long view atrophies. We lose sight of the interconnected web that holds us all, forgetting that our feet are woven together in ways both visible and invisible. See, this cost of contraction is what we gain in a imagined safety. We think we are safe, we lose genuine security. A world where everyone looks only to their own becomes a world where no one is truly safe. Empathy isn't a luxury for stable times, it is a foundation of collective resilience in uncertain ones. Whenever the times are uncertain, that's the empathy. That becomes the foundation of collective resilience. Get it? So as you look at this that way, what is happening to the people as a whole is they're contracting. They're not expanding their heart because self-protection, fear, and me first, that kind of attitude. Okay. So actually we call this me first era. See, we live in an age that celebrates the individual above all else, personal achievement, material success by me, and carefully curated consumption. They have become the metrics by which we measure a life well lived. When you got somebody achieved a lot, somebody has personal wealth and all that, right? These algorithms that shape our days are designed to reflect our preferences back to us, creating echo chambers that reinforce self focus at every turn. Self focus, me first. This isn't a normal failing or a moral failing, it's a systemic condition. Okay, it's a moral failing sharply, but that's just not it. It is like a systemic condition. See, economic structures reward individual advancement. Our social media platforms amplify personal branding, and our political discourse has devolved into competing claims of grievance and entitlement. See, the language of shared responsibility, of collective care, of interdependence, they sound almost quaint in this context, right? People think you are naive, you are kind of altruistic, all these things will come at you. Yet, among all this, beneath the surface of this atomized existence, we feel the ache of disconnection. Personal success will also become, but then we feel the disconnection. The promise that optimizing our individual lives would lead to fulfillment, we have proven hollow. That is something we see all the time. We are more connected than ever by our technology and more lonely than ever. That's the reality. Many people are very lonely, right? So this is a paradox that points to a deeper hunger for genuine human concern that transcends the boundaries of individual self, right? I see that every day. But then awakened, the same person who was selfishly oriented or thinks me first, when he has liberated himself from understanding and the clarity, he kind of appreciates that very much. See, this is a data age, right? We collect a lot. I myself am a big data person, but there is a cognitive fatigue that happens because of this physical nature of using mechanical mind, doing the data a lot. Obviously, we have a lot of information coming at us. That is, we call it information overload. 74% of people report feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information they encounter daily. That's true, right? A lot of people um, are aware that they are exposed to so much of information that's kind of overwhelming them, right? And then this leads to emotional exhaustion. Almost 62% they experience decision fatigue that depletes their capacity for empathetic response. That's the main point. And then many of the people becoming attention deficit, 89%, they struggle to maintain focus on single tasks or emotional experiences for extended period. See, our brains weren't designed for the relentless onslaught of data that is characterizing our modern life. You cannot escape, that's a reality. So every notification, every headline, every update, they demand a small piece of our cognitive bandwidth. What is less obvious is how this information delivers drains our emotional resource as well as our focus and all that. So empathy fatigue isn't a character flaw. See, you cannot do, you could not go and say, oh, these people are just mechanical. No, no. This is not a character flaw. This empathy fatigue. It's a predictable outcome of systems that overload our capacity to process and respond to human suffering. That's why we see and then we go away. So we become numb, not because we don't care, but because we literally don't have the bandwidth to care about everything presented to our attention. That is why this attention economy, this attack on our attention had to be taken seriously. People think, oh, that's okay, I can absorb and I can no. Usually people have a lot of problem with this. So, and people feel they're running on empty. So this is like I call this as optimization trap. So we have become wasteful at engineering comfort and convenience into every aspect of our lives. We have been doing that engineering. Smart homes, instant delivery, food is delivered instantly, right? Anything that you want it to be, Amazon. Then frictionless experience. We have removed obstacles with remarkable efficiency. Yet, in optimizing for ease, we have neglected to cultivate the inner resources. Inner resources, I emphasize that make our life meaningful. Those inner resources that make our mind and inner self very meaningful. You are kind, you are empathetic, you are compassionate, you are helpful, you are giving. You can feel yourself, your experience is much better. So, we are running at peak external efficiency, while operating on empty internally. It's not a character flaw, it's the effect of our culture, effect of everything. So external abundance is there, material comfort, technological convenience, and instant gratification, right? But internal poverty is there, no emotional outpour, emotional depletion rather. And then spiritual drought. Many people think spirituality means going to the religious way and then doing something external. No. What about your inner self? So, and also disconnection from purpose. They may have purpose of making money and all that. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about internally. How liberated are you from anxiety, fear, and all that? How connected you are to the rest of the humanity? How connected your major purpose in life? So this widening gap as outer life accelerating, inner anchoring is eroding, leaving us unrooted. And then we are really not having any more internally. We are becoming unmoored, we call it. Mooring is kind of, having something like a real ability to stand in one thing. But then we're not, right? So as you look at these things I'm talking about internally, it's not about judging people. It's about looking at ourselves and then say, okay, we are having this problem. Now, what do we do? Okay, that kind of thing is very practical, I think. Because I see many people who come, they say, you talk about a witness of our body and mind, but I don't seem to get connected with that witness. So disconnected from the witness. So when we lose the touch with that witness consciousness, which is awareness, we are aware of our thoughts, we are our feelings, we are aware of our aches and pains in our body. So that awareness is our witness. That is witnessing our experiences, right? So this that part of ourselves that is observing without judgment, that remains present without reactivity. That's the main thing, without reactivity. So we lose our anchor in the storm of experience. When something comes, we go into the storm of emotional experiences, right? Then you cannot be moved, you cannot be stationed or something. See, this witness consciousness is our capacity of self awareness, stepping back from the torrent of thoughts and emotions to simply observe what is. It's not detachment or dissociation, it's a fuller, more complete form of presence. Without this inner witness, we are swept away by every impulse, every trigger, every wave of collective emotion. So, sensitivity without witness consciousness becomes overwhelmed. Empathy without self awareness becomes enmeshment. You are caught in something that you can't don't know how to come out of. And care without grounding becomes depletion. The cultivation of the witness isn't about creating distance from life, it's about developing the stability to remain present. Stability. Developing the stability to remain present to life in all its intensity without losing ourselves in the process. This ancient understanding preserved in contemplative traditions across cultures. Contemplative traditions. People are taking time, sitting and turning their mind back and contemplating on their life and the life around them. So this kind of contemplative traditions, they offer us a lifeline in an age of constant stimulation and emotional flooding. Don't allow that. To reclaim that sensitivity, we must reclaim our capacity to witness, right? If you can witness what is going on, the storms, the commotion, everything that goes on inside of even the constant chattering of mind, you got to be able to witness. Remember, in my morning routine, the fourth thing I do, apart from the stretching, body breathing, and being in the present, observe your thoughts. Who is observing? That witness consciousness. So you want to cultivate that. You want to rekindle that. And you can start very slow. So I will give you briefly how the ancients described this as a remedy and how it can be in the modern form that we could adapt. So, restoring the witness, okay, cultivating the observer within, that steady presence that can hold all experience without being overwhelmed by it, that is the observer. Through meditation, that means you're coming down and coming to it, observing each thought. Mindfulness is emptying the mind and observing things as they are. And contemplative practice, really looking over how did I react from all that. So we rebuild this way our capacity for seeing clearly, okay? Not with through so many thoughts, but slowing them down, coming to one. That is the restoring the witness. But we also have to respond to life's challenges without being emotionally reactive. This is something I talk about all the time. Create space between the stimulus and your response. Take a deep breath, hold on, fall back, learn to pause, learn to breathe, learn to choose our actions from awareness rather than being driven by unconscious patterns. We have all these thoughts, unconscious learning, we go by that. No, stop by, and then by your awareness you kind of choose your actions, what is good for you in the long run, how should I do this, and then also how should I end that. This space between the stimulus and your response, that is where the wisdom lives, okay. And then one easy thing is service. Just assume that you are servicing the life, no matter what you are doing. Let service, this kind of dissolves your agency, thinking like, I am doing it, I'm such a big deal. No, you have the chance to serve, that's why you're doing it. So when we act from the genuine service, the burden of the separate self lightens. That's it. Not the ego service. Ego seeks validation and recognition, but the deeper movement of care that flows naturally when we stop defending our boundaries, saying, oh, only these things I'm going to do, and open to what is needed. That is important. Open to what is needed. So these are not new techniques, they are timeless practices adapted for our particular moment. See, the remedy is not an innovation, it's a remembrance and application of what humans have always known about living with an open heart. We always know that. All the human beings know that. They feel it in times of stress, in times of somebody's distress. You naturally reach out as a human being, right? Don't you? So then you don't know the heart is opening. So this is where, as I said, we have achieved technological marvels that seemed like magic, really magic to previous generation. Even the phone. When I came to this country in 1981, I had to call my mom, and I could not get the call for a whole overnight. And then when the call comes, with 3 minutes, then it is you hang up. Now you see, we can carry it around, and I speak free with my sister now for hours. So we can communicate instantly across continents. That is there, and access the sum of human knowledge from devices in our pockets and solve occupational problem once thought impossible. Right? We have that. Yet all the advancement we did technologically, it is actually far outpaced our wisdom in using these tools wisely. Say we have built sophisticated systems for everything except the integration of wellness, attention, and compassion. The very capacities we need most urgently as we face planetary challenges. The planet is in peril, that is threatening all life. See, the irony is stuck here. We have global reach with a local vision, powerful tools with impoverished aims, and constant connection with profound isolation. This is the our species have never been more capable or more fragmented too, more informed or more confused about what truly matters. Right? That is what is going on. So especially young people, they are going deeper and deeper into the technology without having these humane qualities to be shown to them by the other people who are elderly people. Okay, no problem. You can have this, but you can reclaim your sensitivity without breakup of yourself. See, the invitation before us, what I'm putting is both simple and profound. Just to feel again. Let ourselves be touched by the suffering and joy of the world. Allow our hearts to break open, open, rather than shutting down. Hearts to break open rather than shut down. To trust that we can bear witness to difficulties without being destroyed by them. Feel it from the awareness. Let emotions arise and pass through your spacious witness consciousness, neither suppressing nor drowning in them. Let them pass through your consciousness, observe them, and act from the equanimity. So that means respond to each with calm clarity rather than frantic reactivity. If you react, you will be doing frantically. But if you take a gap and respond to situation with equanimous nature, then that is sustainable action flows from your inner stability. That is an important thing. This is called Sthita Prajna in Sanskrit, stable in wisdom. And then you serve with purpose. So, feeling from awareness, acting from equanimity, and serving with purpose. Let your actions be guided by your clear intention and deep values, not by ego's need for validation or guilt's compulsion to prove worthiness. None of it. That's all egoic activity. So, this is the bridge to the shared inheritance, a world where technology serves human flourishing. Technology serves the human flourishing, where AI enhances rather than replaces wisdom. So, I talk about AI too. I do AI, I recruit AI as a tool, but that is enhancing rather than replacing my wisdom. I can reach out more people, I can be more clear, I can express myself better. So, the planet is a garden like. We want to tend together rather than a battlefield where we fight being alone each other. Okay, so that is not really what we are looking for. As the AI takes over, technology becomes much more, and this is going to be so powerful unless we kind of open our eyes and then really be aware of this. There will be more immune to the suffering, right? So the planet is threatened. That's the important thing to consider. And how can we be nice to each other in this time? Suppose you are in a ship, all of us, and we're going to drown tomorrow morning. How would we be to each other, right? So that's what I wanted to present to you. My observation of what's going on, my observation of why so many people are indifferent to the thing, is that they have become cruel, they have become no, it's the effect of all the technological drowning us. Anybody has any questions or anything that you want me to ask, you can come up. I put some thought into this because over the years I've been thinking about this, why we are becoming so non-empathetic. And then when you look at it with your awareness, then you see it's not a flaw. It's a kind of effect of our culture on us too. So once you understand that, it's easier to come out of it. As I told you, the planet is in peril while humans are in silos. See, that's why technology advancement should not be far outpace our wisdom. And ancients talk us about sthita prajna, stable in wisdom. That means you are not going to talk wisely today, and then tomorrow you forgot about it. Then that's not sthita prajna. When you encounter situations in life that challenge you, you are not emotionally reacting like that. Okay? You can be the observer. You can be the witness or consciousness where your emotional turmoil, your thought overload, everything can be observed and it will work. This is what Krishna tells Arjuna in that epic book of Bhagavad Gita. Observe these storms as they come and go. You are the sky of awareness. In you, all the clouds, all everything goes on. The same thing in contemporary cultures, everywhere this way. But then we are sinking in the enormous thought patterns, egoic nature, and emotional patterns and all that. That's why we are becoming more immune. Be the observer first, and then be aware and awareness, and then serve. See, that is a very important topic for all of us. It's not a moral thing, but it's like an understanding thing. It's having the clarity about where we are going, what we're going. It's not somebody else, us in life, in situations. How we react, how we respond, all that matters. By the way, it's a good wellness thing too. These Chitta people, these stable in wisdom, they don't have the movement of the mind, or they don't have this tremendous amount of starving in the emotions. They're stable, and that's why they don't have this neurohumoral or hormonal secretion that much. That's why they are not uh, letting this humoral response in the form of stress causing all sorts of harmful hormones, stress hormones. So that's why it's a very important thing to understand what is this stability inside. Not by your willpower. Willpower is also egoic, but by standing apart from it and being the observer, being the witness. Okay? Anybody has any comment or question or any awakening? Or you say this is all hogwash? I have so much enthusiasm about these deeper things when I write them. I like to share them. You know, I don't need any validation or any recognition. I just want to share, that's all. And then also maybe few people will really understand what is the depth of this wisdom, why it is needed for us in this technological onslaught, how we can use it, but at the same time not be victim of it, and how can we use it to improve more empathy, more humane behavior among people. I hope that is serving me. The technology is serving me for that purpose. And that's why I'm very happy to do that. Anybody has any questions or comments? You can come up. I'm almost 37 minutes into the talk, so even if you don't understand, come and ask me where you don't understand. But it's like a very common thing I'm talking about. Why we are so immune to the suffering around us? What is happening to our brains with the technology, with the way we live, ego-based? All that is really causing our humanity, right? To get back to that, understand these technological changes, this egoic nature, me first culture. It's all doing that destruction of our humanity. You don't have to learn to grow. Just remember it. Get back to it. Then you will be acting humanly in situations, in life's challenges. Otherwise, you are not aware, it will go on. You may have so much factual knowledge. You may have so many skills to make better living, but outward living, livelihood, but that may not be nothing. Then you are inner poverty, like inner emptiness. And nobody need to point that out for you. Okay? You can observe it yourself as the witness, as the observer, I think. And then, having observed itself, you will see the solution. That is awakening the intelligence. I was talking about this with Peter the other day. Peter, if you are there, come up and tell me what's going on with that book we are reading. That was written a while ago, but it talks about not the chatter or intellectual capacity or talents of remembering. That's not it. It's about innate sense of fairness, innate sense of empathy, innate sense of equanimity, innate sense of love and affection and friendship to other lives on earth. And also recognizing we are intelligent. We are not weak and fearful people if you think that is human. No, that's only the side of that human being that can really muffle your natural humanity, right? So real intelligence really wrecks this up and then presents that to you. And using that intelligence, stationary in the intelligence, not in the factual knowledge, that is realistic. So you're not coming from the what is the data you accumulated, but you are coming from what is presented to you in a perceptive way in the moment. What is here now? Okay, so it's almost 40 some minutes, and I will stay here a few more minutes and then I will leave. I don't even have a response from anybody, whether they like it or understand it or anything like that. That is the kind of little bit disheartening sometimes, because did anybody get it or not? That kind of thing. Is this a concern of only mine, or they do see that too? Some stark events, like I told you about the New York event, that may draw the attention of the entire nation about see how many people are walking by and this person is suffering. Like that. So many things are going on, right? So Gaza, Ukraine, now Venezuela, so many things are going in the world. And that war produces tremendous suffering to everybody involved, you know. So much going on, the human suffering lies like. So anyway, we can stay here and understand and be free of all that, and then provide kind of genuine uh, help and empathy and friendship and love. I hope you all have that, and you all going to look into this humaneness with us is always there. Remember it back, execute it back. Don't be fearful that's going to hurt you. That's a contraction that happens when you are fearful, right? But when you open your heart, you expand, and that's a very good thing. Last call. Anybody wants to come up? Otherwise, we will take leave. And I did say what I have to say, so it's up to you to participate or ignore it and go your own way. That's up to you. So I will see you again when I have a topic to talk to or something to. By the way, my retreat on 17th, it is coming up, and that's going to be morning 7 a.m. Central Time, Chicago time, to 10 a.m. both days, altogether 6 hours. So I'll prepare people to look at where they are and see what are the possible enhancements that they could do, and if they want to participate in them, if they want new ways of going about it, and that would be real training to transform life. But it is not by instruction, it's by you practicing what you understood and being at it for lifetime probably sometimes. Okay? Sometimes it can happen right away too. Simple things like a diet, exercise, sleep, and mind, they're all easy. But this is inner awakening, inner realization. That's going to be tough. But then, once you look at that in the way that I was talking about, it's much easier. It's not a formula, it's more like understanding, opening up your mind and heart, and then participating in life with that whole wisdom, and then stabilizing in that wisdom, living the life, and that is the beauty of life. Thank you, and I'll see you again later. Bye bye.